As the culling game deepened into its most brutal phase, the battle shifted from scattered clashes to concentrated showdowns of overwhelming power. In Sendai Colony and Tokyo Colony Number 2, the strongest players and the most terrifying cursed entities collided in fights that pushed the very rules of Jujutsu sorcery to their breaking point. These sequences, four of the arc's most intricate and unforgiving, showcase combat at a level where every technique carries the weight of conceptual law, and a single mistake means instant obliteration. The Sendai colony first erupted with Yuta Okotsu facing Kuro Rushi, the special-grade cursed spirit born from humanity's ancient revulsion toward cockroaches. This towering, multi-limbed horror wielded the festering life blade, a grotesque organic sword that, on contact, injected eggs into its target. The eggs hatched almost immediately, larvae tearing through flesh from the inside while feeding the curse's regeneration. Yuta, who had been deliberately restraining himself to shield nearby civilians, found the entire district under siege as an endless swarm of roaches poured from Kuro Rushi's body. He dodged the initial strikes with fluid precision, but one glancing blow landed. Panels zoom in on the eggs burrowing beneath his skin, the larvae bursting outward in sprays of blood. The swarm thickened, blanketing buildings and streets. Kurorushi closed in for the kill, blade raised high. Instead of retreating or counterattacking with raw force, Yuta allowed the curse to draw dangerously near. In a single, horrifying motion, he seized its head and channeled reverse cursed technique directly from his mouth into its maw, like forcing pure light into a void made of darkness. Because cursed spirits are nothing but condensed negative energy, the positive energy acted as molecular-level corrosion. Cracks of blinding white light spiderwebbed across Kurorushi's exoskeleton. Its body convulsed, then detonated into harmless cursed residue. The swarm collapsed instantly. Yuta stood alone amid the settling dust, having turned the mechanics of healing into a weapon of absolute exorcism. Moments later, the colony descended into pandemonium as three titans clashed. Yuta, the reincarnated Heian-era captain Takako Uro, and the man with history's highest cursed energy output, Ryu Ishigori. Uro manipulated the sky itself, treating the horizon as a tangible plane she could fold and redirect. She caught Ryu's granite blast, a city block-level beam of raw energy, and hurled it back at him like crumpled paper. Ryu fired again, smirking, his output so immense the air itself warped. Yuta moved between them, summoning partial manifestations of Rika to intercept. The fight escalated to its peak when all three attempted domain expansion at once. Three barriers slammed into existence simultaneously, their sure-hit effects colliding and destabilizing one another. The overlapping domains imploded in a violent cascade, leaving everyone in open air with no protective shell. In the resulting free-for-all, Yuta revealed the depth of his copy ability. He replicated Uro's sky manipulation, slapping the sky to redirect Ryu's blasts. When Uro unleashed Thin Icebreaker, shattering the conceptual space around a target like fragile glass, Yuta mirrored it, cracking Ryu's defenses apart. Ryu answered with unrelenting barrages, carving craters into the earth. Uro folded attacks around Yuta with surgical precision, yet his stamina refused to break. The veterans began to flag first. Uro's sky bends grew sluggish. Ryu's beams lost their apocalyptic edge. Yuta outlasted them both, dismantling Uro with her own Thin Icebreaker before turning a copied technique against Ryu. Even after eating a point-blank granite blast and regenerating through reverse cursed technique, Yuta pressed forward until both opponents fell. Far across the game board in Tokyo Colony Number 2, another legendary duel unfolded. Kinji Hikari against Hajime Kashimo, the 400-year-old lightning god who lived only to fight the strongest. Kashimo's cursed energy carried the properties of electricity. He built charge within his body and released unblockable lightning strikes, no domain required. Hikari answered with idle death gamble, his domain expansion manifesting as a glowing pachinko parlor themed around a romance manga. The domain's rules were pure chaos. Spinning reels determined whether Hikari hit jackpot. A successful spin granted 4 minutes and 11 seconds of infinite cursed energy, during which his body performed automatic reverse curse technique at blinding speed, regenerating limbs, organs, even brain matter mid-destruction. Kashimo charged in, staff crackling. He landed electrified blows, building toward a fatal bolt. Hikari took the hits, laughing through the pain. The pachinko spun. Early misses forced him to evade arcs of lightning that carved glowing scars across the ground. Then the jackpot hit. Light flooded the domain. Hikari's body glowed with bottomless energy. Kashimo adapted instantly, targeting the head and neck for one-shot kills. He blew off Hikari's arm, regrown in seconds. He detonated Hikari's skull in a spray of gore, only for the brain to reform before the body hit the ground. The timer ticked down with ferocious exchanges. Hikari hammering Kashimo with enhanced punches, Kashimo seeking any opening that could end it before the reset. The domain refreshed. Another spin. Another jackpot. Kashimo unleashed his full mythic form, hair transforming into lightning conductors, but Hikari's luck and regeneration proved unbreakable. In the end, Kashimo, impressed and exhausted, acknowledged defeat. The gambler's broken mechanic had outlasted the lightning god's perfected skill. Finally, in the Sakurajima colony, Maki Zenin faced her cousin Naoya, now a vengeful cursed spirit after his death. Reincarnated, Naoya wielded projection sorcery at its peak, dividing a single second into 24 frames and accelerating to Mach 3. His body became a supersonic projectile, leaving sonic booms in his wake. Maki struggled at first, her blade cutting only air as Naoya circled and rammed with jet-like force. Pinned and bleeding, Maki underwent her final awakening. She abandoned reliance on eyesight and began perceiving the soul of everything around her. The faint pressure changes in the air, temperature gradients, the subtle flow of the environment itself. The world became one continuous entity. She no longer chased Naoya's afterimages. She anticipated his trajectory before he moved. Naoya accelerated to full Mach 3 speed. Maki sidestepped with perfect timing, countering with strikes that landed exactly where his path would carry him. He expanded his domain, Time Cell Moon Palace, but Maki, unbound by conventional heavenly restriction limits, endured and broke through. In the decisive moment, she drew the split-soul katana, a blade that severed the soul itself rather than mere flesh. As Naoya rushed in one final supersonic charge, Maki timed her slash. The katana cleaved through his hardened shell, splitting the cursed spirit apart. His form unraveled into vanishing cursed energy, leaving Maki standing as the true inheritor of Toji Fushiguro's legacy, a warrior completely outside the Jujutsu system. These 4 battles represent the Culling game at its most refined and ruthless, where genius, endurance, luck, and sheer conceptual mastery decide who continues and who is erased forever. The arc's heart beats strongest in these moments of deadlock and jackpot.